Okay, let's get into this. We are starting a deep dive today that I admit might sound a little specific,
A little bit.
but trust me, this is all about efficiency and discovery. We're looking at a set of personal gardening notes,
Hmm.
but not just any notes. These are basically a strategic manual for finding value where you least expect it.
Right. And our mission here is to really unpack the story of one plant, the tropical leaf flower. Its scientific name is Phyllanthus pulcher.
Pulcher. Sounds fancy.
It does. But the author's first impression was that the plant was, and this is a direct quote, mundane. And that, I think, sets up this perfect journey of discovery for us. We're not just looking for gardening tips.
No.
We're digging into these notes to see how this supposedly boring plant reveals these incredible biological traits, its resilience, and, its real practical value.
I love that idea, that tension. Finding something truly complex where you just expected, well, boredom, and the plant's family, the Phyllanthus family, kind of sets that stage perfectly, doesn't it?
It really does. That family is known for being rugged, tenacious. I mean, frankly, a lot of them are plants we just call weeds.
Aggressive growers.
Exactly.
Ugh.
And that toughness is really the backbone here. But what the notes point out right away is this plant's duality. It isn't just tough.
It's got something else going on.
Yeah, this species is actually valued as an ornamental plant, something people actively want for its beauty. And it also has medicinal uses, so it immediately makes you ask a question.
Which is?
If it has that, weed-like resilience, why would any serious gardener be hunting for it in a nursery?
That's a great question to start with. If it's so tough it could be aggressive, it has to give you something really special in return. But, before we even touch the biology, the notes give this fantastic tactical tip on how the plant was even found. I think this is gold for anyone who shops for plants.
Or for anything, really. It's a classic business lesson hidden in a gardening tip.
It is. The author lays out the best times to go to a plant nursery if you're looking for a deal or, and this is the key part, for those newly stocked, really unusual species.
The ones that aren't even in the system yet.
Exactly. And they pinpoint 2 windows just before a big festive season, or right at the beginning or end of the month.
And you can see the logic, right? It's all about operations. Nurseries are trying to maximize their stock turnover before a holiday. They're getting big shipments in, clearing out old stuff with discounts.
And the month-end thing is all about accounting and inventory. New freight comes in, old stock goes out. It's a moment of productive chaos.
So the pea poulcher was basically found in that window. A happy accident that was available because of smart timing, not because it was sitting front and center with a big sign.
Right. It was an operational find.
Precisely. And if you look at the plant itself, you can understand why a casual shopper might just walk right past it. The notes describe it as an evergreen, semi-woody shrub. Pretty modest.
How modest are we talking?
It typically grows between, say, 0.5 meter and 1.5 meters, so manageable, but not exactly a showstopper at first glance.
Which brings us right back to the author's initial skepticism. They were not impressed with the foliage. They literally called the leaves less captivating than the flowers. Just, background noise.
And that's totally understandable when you just look at the structure. The foliage is very orderly, almost too neat.
How so?
It has this pinnate leaf appearance, that classic feather-like pattern. You've got these little leaflets arranged alternately in 2 perfect rows along the branchlets. It sounds efficient, almost geometric, but maybe a little boring.
When I read that, I pictured the kind of basic green foliage you see on 1,000 different shrubs. Functional, easy to ignore. But this is where we get the first real plot twist.
This is the moment.
That simple, orderly look is just a mask for this incredibly complex, hidden behavior that happens every single night. This is what pulled the plant out of that mundane category for the author.
Yes, the aha moment. It all comes down to the fact that those simple-looking leaflets perform this highly regulated cyclical movement. We're talking about a phenomenon known as nyctinasty.
Nyctinasty. Okay, that sounds technical. For anyone who hasn't heard of that, what is the plant actually doing?
It's basically the plant version of closing up shop for the night. The leaflets, they literally fold up tightly.
Fold up.
Right up against the stem, right after sunset. It's a response to the change in light. People often compare it to Venetian blinds slowly closing.
I love that image. It's like a tiny silent ballet every single evening from a plant that was initially dismissed as boring. So what's the driver? Why does it do this?
Well, that's where the science gets really interesting, and the notes allude to this. There are a couple of big theories. One is about thermoregulation.
Keeping warm.
Sort of. Folding up could help the plant conserve heat overnight, especially in tropical places where the temperature can drop.
So it's pulling a blanket over itself.
Exactly that. Another big theory is defense. By folding up and reducing the exposed leaf surface, the plant might make itself a less obvious target for any insects or herbivores that feed at night.
That's fascinating. So it's not just a passive reaction to darkness, it's an active strategy. It's costing the plant energy to do this every night.
It's highly sophisticated,
Hmm.
and that cost-benefit analysis is key. Why spend all that energy if the foliage wasn't worth protecting? It completely flips the script.
It really does. It tells you that what looks simple during the day is actually this dynamic machine getting ready for the night.
The plant's resilience is matched by this hidden dynamism.
Okay, so the leaves were the big surprise. Now let's talk about the feature the author actually liked from the start, the flowers.
Right, this is the immediate curb appeal. The notes describe them as small, but they pack a punch. They're this gorgeous mix of red and white.
And their placement is important too, right? They aren't just scattered everywhere.
No, they're clustered very neatly in the leaf axils.
The little corner where the leaf meets the stem.
Exactly. And that placement creates this incredible density of color.
Yeah.
Even though the flowers are small, because they're clustered like that, you get this continuous stream of red and white against the green. This is very efficient design.
That sounds beautiful. And as these flowers mature, they turn into something else that holds another surprise. This is where we get another one of those super specific details from the notes.
Yes, the fruit and the seeds. The flowers mature into these small brownish fruits.
Mhm.
But when you look inside at the seeds themselves, that's where it gets interesting.
They're described as trigonal.
Trigonal.
That sounds like it's from a math class. We think of seeds as being round or oval. What does it mean for a seed to be three-sided? Why does that geometry matter?
It points to some very precise evolutionary engineering. I mean, when a biological structure is that specific, perfectly three-sided, it usually implies something about efficiency.
Tacking efficiency.
That's a great way to put it. Trigonal shapes can be incredibly strong, and they allow the seeds to fit together really tightly inside that small fruit. It lets the plant maximize the number of viable seeds it produces.
So it's using geometry to be more biologically efficient. That, plus the sheer number of seeds it produces, brings us right back to the practical side of things for a gardener.
It really does.
If you have a plant from a famously tough family, and it's making huge numbers of these perfectly engineered little seeds, what does that tell you about how hard it is to take care of?
It basically screams low maintenance. The notes make that connection directly. The plant's weed-like resilience and all those seeds point to it being highly pest-resistant and not needing a lot of fuss.
So the very things that might make you worry, its toughness, its ability to seed everywhere, are actually its biggest selling points for a low-stress garden.
It's a paradox, but a useful one. You get all the beauty of the flowers, you get the spectacle of leaves closing at night, but you don't have to constantly baby it.
It's self-sufficient.
Precisely. You get the ornamental beauty, the resilience, and let's not forget the medicinal properties. It's a powerhouse of a plant hiding in plain sight.
And that is the perfect way to wrap up this deep dive. We started with a plant, the tropical leaf flower, that on the surface seemed mundane, but by looking closer we found all these layers.
We really did.
We found vibrant color, we found that complex nightly movement, the nyctinasty, and then this unexpected engineered geometry in those tiny trigonal seeds.
It just reinforces the value of pushing past that first impression. Its ability to thrive is because it shares traits with the hardiest weeds. And that's what makes it such a great ornamental plant. It's beautiful because it's tough, not in spite of it.
It definitely makes you question what you think of as simple.
Right.
We saw that the flowers of this plant hide these complex three-sided seeds. They defy our expectation of what a seed should look like. So think about what other structures you see every day that you just assume are simple. Maybe a grain of pollen, a snowflake, even a crystal of salt. Consider how many of them contain these hidden, highly specific, and often beautiful geometric forms, just waiting for you to look a little bit closer. That's something to think about until our next deep dive.